Hey everybody, welcome back to the Sunday sessions. Now, if you don't know what this is by now, it's a weekly series where we just run through the markets, giving you our best investment opportunities for the coming trading week. Make sure you pay attention all the way throughout because these are the trades we're going to be watching, hoping to find entries on to send through into the group chats. On top of that, we will update this analysis all the way throughout the week when something happens. Maybe we have displacements or the potential entry we were looking for actually begins to play out. We'll update you all in the Learning Lounge. If you're not already involved in this group chat, it's completely free of charge. The link's in the description. Get yourself involved. So this week, it's just myself. Luke will not be joining us. However, I will still be providing you with plenty of analysis, plenty of opportunities that you can hopefully take advantage of in this coming trading week, like we are hoping to ourselves. So starting off here on the euro to the US dollar, just a quick overall outlook. We have a high set, we have a low set, price traded back up. We reacted to this supply zone. Now from this point, we can expect that price will trade down to at least this area, as this is the last unmitigated position. So price is either going to find demand in this area, accumulate and reverse, or it will actually penetrate the low, putting in a lower low. Now, I'm just going to make the assumption that price will at least come to here. So if I manage to get in on any sell positions, I'll be looking to ride it down to at least the 1.1002. As we move in lower, we can see, of course, that price has been creating bearish structure since finding supply in this region, displacing the lows, protecting the highs. If we go into as of recent, we can see here we had a protected high. Now what's happened is price never actually traded back up to mitigate the position I was wanting it to. However, since then it has displaced and put a new lower low in place. As a result of this, I'm going to expect that this is now a protected high and price may be unlikely now to actually trade back up and mitigate this position. We don't really need to worry about that because when the market does eventually reverse and we start going bullish longer term, those positions will get mitigated anyway. So as I said, because we've had this displacement, I'm hoping this high to be held, hopefully finding supply in the last buy candles. If we zoom in on price recently, you can see that as it's come in, it's tapped into this supply zone. We've had some creation of liquidity, manipulations, an S&D flip, so a displacement of the low. This to me appears to be a distribution. So what we would do is we would highlight that with our third box. So that is Wyckoff in schematic. So what price has done after displacing is traded back up, seeming to protect the high, reversing inside of this supply zone. If we go down onto the 3 minute, you can see that within this region, we've had price begin to displace lower now, protecting highs, breaking lows. So this could be a mass reversal point for us to get involved in longer term sells all the way down to here. I'd be looking to take a partial at this point if entry confirmation was fully delivered, just because we may find demand here. This is the last sells before a very, very high volume push up, a lot of market inefficiency within here. So even if we weren't to hold this structure, I'd expect that price will still reverse here, find demand in this region before making a move higher. But because our higher time frame bias tells us we want to go short, I'm just going to be taking a partial here rather than a full close and hoping to ride price down into that zone I spoke about originally. Okay, so now moving over into the gold market. This is one I've been looking at a few times now. What's happened here is, if you remember through some of the last videos, I had a very long-term supply zone up at a top of a region, hoping for price to basically just continue the bearish structure it has been doing for the past, I'd say, year now. And after tapping into this supply zone, reversing through the use of a distribution schematic. So what that is, induce sellers into the market in phase A, building liquidity. The up thrust is that injection of momentum where we manipulate all liquidity. We signified a break and retest. So we're manipulating both sellers and buyers out the market. From there, after injecting the momentum, we then made these moves lower, displacing protected lows in the scheme of this bullish structure that traded us up. You'll see after this displacement, I was hoping to be able to go short from this region. However, we did continue to keep going lower, running all of these liquidity lows. I'm expecting price to continue doing this, just keep running all of the liquidity lows all the way down to a final target I have here around 1677. The reason this is a final target is because it's a mass area of liquidity. To retail traders, or technical traders, sorry, this is going to be a heavy level of support. Now, me as an institutional trader, I see this as a region of mass liquidity that is eventually going to be ran. And therefore, if I do manage to get in on a sell position, I'll try and hold a partial of my position all the way down here in the hope that that liquidity run is to happen on this move lower. So as stated, I am hoping to see price trade all the way back up to around about the 1835 mark, find supply within this region, within this point of interest, just because this is the region where we had that injection of momentum, where we cleared the liquidity. In order for us to do this, we know we have to have smart money presence. Now, because this has happened, I'm going to make the assumption there are positions up in this region unmitigated. I'm hoping to see price trade back up, alert me, try and find a distribution like we saw here, and then get in on those sells. It just depends how much demand we have in the market. If we don't seem to have enough demand, price may actually struggle trading all the way back up into this region. As a result, just keep your eye out for any displacements of price. Maybe if we see this low get displaced, we may then make the assumption that price is ready to run the lows already, and at that point may decide that we want to try and get in on those short positions a bit earlier. Okay, so now moving over to the Aussie dollar to US dollar market. This is another one that was included in the past couple of Sunday sessions. I actually did a full top down within one of the previous ones. Now, basically what I'm wanting to see, if you remember from the last session, is after seeing the displacement, I actually wanted to see price trade back up into this zone. However, we tapped into this one here. This is another one I said just to look at because of the fact that we have some market inefficiency below, and because it is a large swing high within the scheme of this move. What price has done is it's come into this area, tapped in, and we've created a pretty nice distribution there. This being our phase A, where we've had that buying climax, automatic reaction, secondary test, more secondary tests in this region. We slowly trade down into a sign of weakness. The up thrust comes up to clear all liquidity in this region, also injecting that momentum that we needed to create this move lower. We have the displacement, which we've had just now, and from here I'm hoping that we have a wider scheme retracement back up, hopefully into this point of interest. So just see price trade back up into this region, find another distribution to then get involved in. You'll see that if we look down here, we have had a displacement, so hopefully we'll be able to actually find a buy position in this region, our last sells before our buys. See price move up, and then it'll take its large push back up into the supply zone, where we will then look to get that sell position. So if we manage to get the sell, I'll be looking to ride it all the way down to this final target around that 0.6967. So now moving on to the US oil market, you'll see that on this weekly time frame, if we follow the structure, we have a high set, a low set, we come to set a lower high, we then set a lower low all the way down here. Now what I'm expecting is price to trade back up into this region like it has, tap us into this supply zone, reverse in here, and then make moves lower. So if you come into price as of recent, you'll see that we were of course bullish, trading back up into this region. Now what I'm expecting is that price is going to find enough supply in here to trade us lower. Now we can either expect one of two things. Price is either going to come down and find demand within this last sell before buy, continue the bullish structure, but then also gives the opportunity to profit from a sell all the way down in that region. If not, if we look in the wider scheme of things, we could expect price to continue the bearishness it was once following and come all the way down either to this demand zone, or we may even see it break this low. That is unlikely, however, because this is $2 a barrel. I can't imagine price ever falling back down to that region. However, it is still going to have to come down to mitigate position. So hopefully we'll find demand in one of these two areas if price does displace its low. And therefore we should be able to profit from some very, very nice sells. Just moving into price as of recent, what I'm pretty much going to look for is the displacement of price on this low. Once we displace that, hopefully see price trade back up into a supply zone where we'll then be able to catch that sell position where we can hopefully ride down. And just a final update on the Bitcoin market. Now, this is something I involved in last week's Sunday sessions because we saw that price was approaching this demand zone. If we go into lower time frames, we can see that after tapping it, we've seen price accumulate and then start to trade up, breaking the highs, protecting lows. We've had this large impulsive wave up. Quite simply, what I'm going to want to see is price make this major displacement of this high. If we see that happen, I may then start looking for long entries in hope that it follows my analysis in terms of now putting in the next high at my final target, surpassing $70,000 potentially. However, as I stated last time, this is not advice to go and invest in it yourself. This is me just following my analysis and my strategy. So that is going to conclude this week's Sunday sessions. As always, we hope you've enjoyed and we actually hope you managed to profit from some of the positions that we've included in the video. As I stated, make sure you take a look at the links below. That is a link to all of our socials, the free Telegram group chat, and also the website with plenty of exciting stuff on there. I hope you've enjoyed. Any feedback is highly appreciated, and we'll see you next week when we're back here again for another Sunday Sessions.